Hello and welcome back to the channel Kashmir Scientist. Hope आप सब अच्छे से होंगे. Today we will be taking the second part of the chapter chemical reactions and equations, that is types of reactions, and in which we will be discussing these types of reactions. First is combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement, neutralization, exothermic, and oxidation reduction reaction. Last part हमने कवर किया था basics of chemical reactions and equations. What are equations? What are chemical reactions? Balanced, unbalanced, and so much. होप कि आप सबको उतना याद होगा और वो सब समझ आया होगा. And firstly, what type of equations we are going to study is combination reaction. What is combination reaction? As the name suggests, we can say that a reaction in which two or more reactants combine to form one product are called combination reactions. तो नाम से ही पता चलता है कि कॉम्बिनेशन मतलब जोड़ना. तो दो तीन जब हमारे रिएक्टेंट्स एक साथ मिलके कोई एक प्रोडक्ट बनाए, that reaction is called what? This we call as the combination reaction. For example, A and B, these are the two reactants that upon reaction give us a single product AB. For example, पहले भी देखा है कि magnesium Mg plus O2, these are two reactants. When they combine, they form what? Magnesium oxide. This is a single product, but the reactants are two here. These can be more than two also, but for simplicity we have taken two here. These two reactants when combined, they formed what? Magnesium oxide as a single product, and hence we call this reaction combination reaction, because two reactants have combined to form a reactant, to form a product, sorry. And when, say, taking second example, when carbon combines with oxygen to form what? Carbon dioxide. This is again a combination reaction. Why? Because there are two reactants. This is first and this will be second, and this gives us a single product, carbon dioxide, and we say that this is also a chemical reaction of type what? Combination reaction. Hope कि समझ आ गया होगा. What type of reaction are these? Chemical reactions of what type? Combination reaction in which two or more reactants, तो कम से कम दो या दो से ज़्यादा जितने भी हो, जब वो आपस में मिल जाते हैं तो जो हमारे पास सिंगल प्रोडक्ट आता है, we say that this is a type of combination reaction. Coming to the second type of reaction, that is decomposition reaction. Decomposition reactions are, ये हम कह सकते हैं कि ये उसका उल्टा है. किसका? कॉम्बिनेशन रिएक्शन का उल्टा है. Why? Because reactions in which one compound decomposes into two or more compounds or elements are known as decomposition reaction. कॉम्बिनेशन रिएक्शन में हमने देखा था कि दो या दो से ज़्यादा रिएक्टेंट्स आपस में मिलके एक कंपाउंड बनाते हैं, एक प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं. लेकिन डिकम्पोजिशन में उसका उल्टा देख रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे एक जो बड़ा कंपाउंड है, that is broken down into small, or we can say more products, and that products are more than one. More than one can be one or more than one, but the product, this reactant is only one here, and we say that this is a, for general, when we have a product AB, not product, this acts as our reactant, and when this decomposes, this gives us some product as AB. We say that this type of reaction is what? This is a decomposition reaction, because the bigger compound has broken down into smaller components or compounds. Now, for example, when we take the example of calcium carbonate, calcium carbonate, and upon heating, because the decomposition will not occur on its own, we have to give it some initiation. This can be in the form of heat, light, or anything else that we are going to study forward. CaCO3, when given heat or when heated, it decomposes to CaO plus CO2. These are the two products. The bigger this reactant calcium carbonate has given us calcium oxide or quicklime, and carbon dioxide gas. These two products give us what? This type of reaction is called a decomposition reaction. Similarly, when this ferric hydroxide FeOH3, this is like this FeOH3, this decomposes on heating. This delta is specifying that this is heated. This should have been above this arrow. Gives us what? Fe2O3 plus 3 times H2O. This is twice, and hence it is balanced chemical equation that we learned earlier. So this type of equation in which a bigger compound breaks down into smaller parts, this type of equation is called a decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction. तो हो गए दो टाइप्स, पहला था कॉम्बिनेशन एंड सेकंड इज व्हाट? Decomposition. Now decomposition reaction has further types. What are these types? We are going to study one by one. First type is thermal decomposition. Thermal means when this decomposition occurs by heating a substance. जो हमारे पास जो this starting compound जो भी है, जो हमारे पास as reactant act कर रहा है. When we apply heat related to thermal, and when we apply heat on that substance in order to break it down to smaller parts, we say that this type of decomposition is called thermal decomposition. Why? Because we are supplying the heat from through external source, and we say that this type of decomposition is called thermal decomposition. And second type of decomposition is electrolytic decomposition. Reaction in which compound decompose into simpler compounds because of passing electricity are known as electrolytic decomposition. As in thermal decomposition we were supplying heat. In electrolytic decomposition we are supplying or we are passing electricity through this starting compound or the reactant to get the required products. What we do? Reactants that we supply with what? Electricity, or pass electricity through this, and we get what is our required product. For example, when we pass electricity through water, we pass electricity through water decomposes into what? Hydrogen as well as oxygen. It gives us two components of which it was made, as we saw earlier. What? H2 plus O2 gives us water, H2O. Now on supplying heat to this reaction takes back on supplying heat, that we denote with delta. But here we are not supplying heat, we are actually passing current through it. And when we pass current through water, we get what as product is hydrogen and oxygen. This type of decomposition in which the decomposition reaction occurs with the help of what? By passing the electricity. We say that this type of decomposition is called electrolytic decomposition. First was what? Thermal decomposition, and second is electrolytic decomposition. Third type of decomposition is photolysis or photodecomposition reaction. Photolysis in short. Why? Because we will be supplying light energy. Reaction in which compound decomposes because of sunlight are known as photolysis or photodecomposition reaction. जब हम किसी भी कंपाउंड को ब्रेक डाउन करते हैं with the help of sunlight, or we can say simply light, then we say that this type of decomposition is called photolysis in short, or photodecomposition reaction. For this example, when we take silver chloride AgCl, when we take this compound in a beaker or anything, in a cup or something, and when we supply it with sunlight, and we for that what we have to do, हम इसको बाहर रखते हैं धूप में. जब हम इसको धूप में रखते हैं तो सन से इस पे ऊपर रेज आ जाती है, इस पे सनलाइट पड़ती है. जब इस पे सनलाइट पड़ती है तो हमारे पास वहां पे क्या, इसका कलर ग्रे हो जाता है. Gray because this compound breaks into two parts. What are they? It gives us silver and chlorine gas. This chlorine gas will evaporate and what remains is solid silver. And this silver is of what color? This is gray, and hence we see this gray color in the beaker or the cup that we left in the sunlight. And by this reaction we say that this type of reaction is what? This is called photolysis or photodecomposition, and in which we supply the product this reactant with what? Sunlight to get the required products, as the example of AgCl suggested. Now what is this? Photographic paper has a coat of silver chloride. Photographic paper, it is not used nowadays, but earlier when there were cameras, that bigger ones, they used to have these photographic papers which turns into gray when exposed to sunlight. It happens because silver chloride is colorless while silver is a gray metal. Why ये photographic paper जो होता था या होता है, it might be available in the market as well. तो ये जो photographic paper होता है इस पे कोट होता है किसका? सिल्वर क्लोराइड का, सिल्वर क्लोराइड. And when this photographic paper is एक्सपोज टू सनलाइट, जब हम इसको धूप में रखते हैं तो इसका जो रंग होता है वो चेंज होता है किसमें? ग्रे. इट चेंजेस टू ग्रे. व्हाई? बिकॉज दिस सिल्वर क्लोराइड कोटिंग of it changes or it decomposes to what? Silver as well as chlorine. It changes. So we get what color? We get the gray color. This is actually due to photolysis. This is actually due to photolysis. Till now we learned what? Firstly combination reactions, then decomposition reaction and types of decomposition, in which we learned the thermal decomposition, then electrolytic, and third is what? Photolysis. Coming to the third type of reaction, that is displacement reactions. We saw combination reactions, we saw decomposition reactions. Now we will be talking about displacement reactions. The chemical reaction in which more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from a compound is known as displacement reaction. What happens in this type of reaction is that when there is a reaction between two substances or two compounds, or that may be a single element and a compound, when this reaction is happening, CB for example, when there is a reaction between two compounds and when the first element or simply an element replaces some element from a given compound. For example, A plus BC gives us AC by replacing what? Replaces B. We say that this type of reaction is what? This is called a displacement reaction, because the element A is more reactive, we can say. That is why it is eliminating or it is displacing this B from this reaction. Not eliminating, but we can say this is displacing this B from the given compound BC and taking its place. We say that this type of reaction is displacement reaction. Why? Displacement reaction takes place only when A is more reactive than B. This type of reaction, this will take place only if this A is more reactive than B. If B is more reactive than A, अगर अब ये B ही इससे ज़्यादा reactive होता, तब then A will not displace C from BC and reaction will not be taking place. तो तब ये B यहाँ से displace ना होता और जो हमारे पास reaction थी पहले से, मतलब जो हमने reaction करनी चाहिए थी A plus BC, ये आगे proceed नहीं होगी because this A is less reactive than B. So in order to make this reaction happen in forward direction, this A has to be more reactive than B. We will be taking examples. For example, when there is reaction between what? Zinc and hydrochloric acid. Zinc and hydrochloric acid. When zinc reacts with this is second example. First taking this, it gives hydrogen gas and zinc chloride. What was the reaction? Zinc plus HCl. This is already a compound and zinc is an element. Now, in order to make this reaction happen towards this, what? ZnCl2 plus H2. In order to make this happen, this zinc has to be more reactive than what? Hydrogen, in order to displace it from the given compound HCl. That is the case here. What? Zinc is in reality more reactive. More reactive than what? It is more reactive than hydrogen. That is why it is displacing this and taking its place in the given compound, making the compound zinc chloride and displacing hydrogen. This type of reaction in which one element displaces other from a given compound, we say that this type of reaction is what? This is called a displacement reaction. Similarly, taking this example, zinc is also more reactive than what? Copper. So when this zinc reacts with copper sulfate, CuSO4, it gives us ZnSO4 plus Cu. Why? Because zinc is displacing this copper from the given compound and taking its place and making the compound ZnSO4. This is happening because this zinc is more reactive than what? This is more reactive than copper. These types of reactions in which one element displaces other, these type of reactions are called displacement reaction. And now coming to double displacement. This type of equations, as we saw in this example, zinc plus hydrogen chloride, here the single element is displacing an element from a given compound. We say that this is single displacement reaction. Now, what type of reaction is this double displacement? In which ions are exchanged between two reactants forming new compounds are called double displacement. Here only single element displaced an element from a given compound, but in double displacement we will be having two compounds, for example AB plus CD, and these two will be displacing. A will be displacing C and B will be displacing what? A is displacing this B. A is displacing D from this compound and B, this D is displacing B. We say that there is double displacement and we get two new compounds AC and BD. Actually what happens, there is ion exchange. This A takes the ion C from this compound. For example, this is A positive, B negative, and we have, and this is C negative and D positive. What we get now? This C negative and A positive, they make a compound, and this D positive and B negative, they make a compound, and we get what? AC plus BD. Because now we have anion and cation in this, and anion and cation in this, and wholly they are as neutral. And we say that there is ion exchange between the two reactants. We have two reactants AB and CD, and there is ion exchange between these two, and this type of reaction is called what? This is called double displacement reaction. For example, when solution of barium chloride, this BaCl2, and sodium sulfate, when these two aqueous solutions are mixed with each other, there is ion exchange between what? This barium and sodium. They exchange the ions. This barium takes the sulfate ion and sodium takes the chloride. And we get two new compounds. What are the? Barium sulfate and sodium chloride. These are two new compounds, and this happens only because there is what ion exchange between the two reactants. Two reactants were barium chloride and sodium sulfate, and when the ion exchange happens between the two, we get two new compounds that are barium sulfate and sodium chloride. When sodium hydroxide, this is second example, when sodium hydroxide reacts with what? HCl. This is a type of neutralization reaction because sodium hydroxide is base and HCl is an acid. We will be talking about this later also. Let us concentrate on double displacement here. There is ion exchange between the two, this sodium and Cl. This is Na positive and Cl negative. They will combine to form what? NaCl, and OH negative and H positive. They will combine to form what? H2O. So the ion exchange happens between these two reactants and we get two new compounds, and these are what? Our products, and we say this type of reactions are called double displacement reactions. What are these examples of double displacement reactions? Now coming to the third type of, fourth type of reactions, that is precipitation reaction. Precipitation reaction. As I already told you that what is a precipitate? It is a solid substance that settles down in the beaker or in anything in which we are taking the reaction, we are making this reaction happen. When this precipitate is formed by the mixing of aqueous solutions of two salts, this type of reaction is called a precipitation reaction. When there is in a reaction there is formation of what? Precipitate. We say this type of reaction is called precipitation reaction. For example, this AgNO3, silver nitrate, and KCl gives us AgCl. Gives us what? AgCl. They are both in the aqueous form. Look at this. They need to be when there is a mixing of aqueous solution of two salts. They are both salts of silver and this is salt of potassium. These salts, when they react with one another, there is formation of a precipitate, and that precipitate is silver chloride and KNO3 in aqueous form. These are the two compounds that we get, and this precipitate. Due to this formation of precipitate, we call this reaction precipitation. Precipitation reaction. Why? Because there is formation of a precipitate of type what? AgCl. So remember, when we have a reaction between what? Two salts in aqueous form. There is formation of a precipitate, and this type of reaction is called what? Precipitation reaction. Coming to another type of reaction, that is neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction, a hint was given earlier. It is the reaction in which an acid reacts with a base to form salt. Now what is salt? Salt is the product of an acid-base reaction. Acid plus base, that gives us salt. There is formation of salt. Acid plus base. This acid-base reaction to form a salt and water by exchange of ions. When there is exchange of ions, so what type of reaction is this? Double displacement. Double displacement reaction. So neutralization reaction is actually a double displacement reaction between an acid and a base to form salt and what? Water. And this type of reaction is called neutralization reaction. For example, this HCl, hydrochloric acid, this is an acid, and sodium hydroxide, this is base, gives us what? NaCl, that is a salt, and water. This type of reaction is called neutralization reaction. Similarly, magnesium hydroxide, that is a base, and HCl, that is an acid, and MgCl2, that is salt, and this is water. If you can see that this is also, these are examples of also what? Double displacement reaction. So you need to remember only one, and just remember that acid base salt, acid base reactions are also double displacement reactions. You can give examples to both of these. So what is neutralization reaction? They are reactions in which an acid and a base react to form a salt, and there is formation of water also, and this is actually due to the exchange of ions. This is what we call neutralization reaction. Coming to the last type of reactions that we are going to study in this module and in this chapter, that is oxidation and reduction. Oxidation and reduction. These are important type of reactions that you will be studying in your 11th also. So what is an oxidation reaction and what is a reduction reaction? Oxidation is simple. In simple words, in basics, we say that it is addition of oxygen to a substance. Don't concentrate on this non-metallic first, just concentrate on oxygen. When we add oxygen to something, for example, C plus O2 gives us what? CO2. This type of reaction, this is called what? This is called oxidation. Why? Because we are adding oxygen to this element. Oxygen, addition of oxygen or non-metallic element. Now we learned what? Addition of oxygen. Since oxygen is also non-metallic, or any other non-metallic element, for example sulfur is there and many more. When there is addition of those elements to what? Any element, we say that it is what? It is actually called the oxidation reaction. Not only this, we have one more property, that is removal of hydrogen. You need to remember 2-3 properties: either addition of oxygen or addition of non-metallic element, or removal of hydrogen or metallic element from a compound is known as oxidation. So now oxidation has 2-3 parts, we can say. Oxidation, either it is addition of oxygen or non-metallic element, or it is removal, just say minus, removal of hydrogen or metallic element. When this type of things happen in a reaction, either addition of oxygen or non-metallic element or removal of hydrogen or metallic element, we say that this type of reaction is called oxidation reaction. Elements or compounds in which oxidation or metallic or non-metallic element is added or hydrogen or metallic element is removed are called to be oxidized. And the elements, the starting elements to which the reaction occurs, to which the addition of oxygen or addition of non-metallic element, or we can say the removal of hydrogen or removal of metallic element occurs, these elements, they are said to be oxidized. What? They are said to be oxidized. This was the basic definition of oxidation. And coming to what is reduction, we will be taking examples too, don't worry about that. Reduction. Now reduction is actually, we can say, opposite of what? Oxidation. In reduction, we say either addition of hydrogen or metallic element. In oxidation, we said what? Addition of oxygen or non-metallic element. In reduction, we say addition of hydrogen or metallic element, or removal of oxygen or non-metallic element. Here the conditions are inverse, we can say, of what we have in oxidation. So in reduction, we have what? Addition of hydrogen or metallic element and removal of oxygen or non-metallic element. This type of reaction is called what? This is called reduction. The compound or element, similarly here, the compound to which the that undergoes reduction, to which hydrogen is added or metallic element is added or oxygen or non-metallic is removed, that is said to be reduced. That element is said to be reduced. Now, the thing is that wherever there is oxidation, reduction takes place there also. That is why we say that oxidation and reduction takes place together. Wherever there is addition of oxygen, there is wherever there is oxidation, there is reduction, and these two take place together. These are called as redox. Red from what? Reduction part, and ox from oxidation part. Hence, these reactions are collectively called as redox reaction. Oxidation plus reduction. Now we have two more terms. First is oxidizing agent. What is oxidizing agent? The substance which gives oxygen for oxidation. So the substance, any substance that gives oxygen for what? Oxidation. When we have a reaction A plus B that contains oxygen, we say gives us some AO plus B. Since this BO gives what? Oxygen for what? Oxidation. Since this gives us B gives us oxygen for oxidation, we say that this is what? This is called oxidizing agent. What is it called? This is called oxidizing agent. Similarly, the substance which removes hydrogen is also called oxidizing agent. Taking the another part of the definition, the substance, just like this, when there is a substance that takes away or removes hydrogen from a substance, that type of substance is also called as oxidizing agent. So what is an oxidizing agent? The substance which either gives oxygen for oxidation or removes hydrogen from a substance in order to make the oxidation happen. That is what we call as oxidizing agent. Similarly, what is reducing agent? The reduced substance which gives hydrogen for reduction. As here it was oxygen for oxidation, we have a reducing agent that gives hydrogen for reduction. That type of substance is called a reducing agent. And similarly, substance which removes oxygen is called a reducing agent. So oxidizing agent, either it provides oxygen or it takes away hydrogen. This type of substance is called oxidizing agent. And a reducing agent, either it gives oxygen or it takes away oxygen. Gives hydrogen or takes away oxygen. And that type of substance is called a reducing agent. Reaction in which oxidation and reduction both take place simultaneously is called a redox reaction. As told earlier, what? Reduction and oxidation, they both happen simultaneously, or they both happen take place together. Hence, these reactions in which they take place simultaneously, they are called a redox reaction. Now taking the example, when copper, this CuO, copper oxide, is heated with hydrogen, this is heated with hydrogen, this gives us copper and gives out water. This gives us copper and water. Taking look back, we can say CuO plus H2 gives us Cu. Here the H2 is taking this oxygen and leaving out this hydrogen. It is copper. We can say this is a type of displacement reaction also. But let us focus on redox reaction here. CuO plus H2 gives us Cu plus H2O. In this reaction, what happened to CuO? There is CuO is changing into Cu. Oxygen is being removed from copper oxide. When this is removed, hence we say that this is what? Reduction. Removal of oxygen from substance is called a reduction. So reduction has happened. So copper oxide is what? being reduced. Copper oxide is being reduced to what? This is reduced to copper. Similarly, in this reaction, this H2 got added with what? Hydrogen, in the oxygen. H2 got added with oxygen to form water. To form water. Hence, we say since there is addition of oxygen, we say that the oxidation has happened or oxidation has occurred because addition of oxygen has took place. So hydrogen is being what? That is oxidized. The substance which gets oxidized is reducing agent. Why? H2 is oxidized to what? H2O. Why? Because it is taking the oxygen. In previous slide, we specified that the substance which gives out hydrogen or removes oxygen, and similarly the which gives oxygen or removes hydrogen, they are called oxidizing agent. Similarly here, the substance which gets oxidized, that acts as a reducing agent. Why? Because it is taking this oxygen from CuO. Hence we say that this H2 is acting as a reducing agent. And similarly, the substance which gets reduced is acting as oxidizing agent. This CuO itself is getting reduced. Why? Because there is removal of oxygen. And itself it is acting as oxidizing agent because it is providing the oxygen for oxidation to happen. So in this reaction, redox reaction has taken place. Why redox? Because there is reduction as well and there is oxidation as well. This H2 is acting as what? Reducing agent. Who acts as reducing agent? H2. Why? Because it is taking out oxygen from this CuO, and this CuO is acting as what? It is acting as oxidizing agent. Why? Because it is providing the oxygen for the oxidation to happen. Hope कि आपको ये सब clear हुआ होगा. In this type of reaction in which reduction and oxidation take place simultaneously, these are called oxidation reactions. Take a look back at this example once you finish this video so that it will become clear to you which acts as reducing agent and which acts as oxidizing agent, because it is sometimes confusing to go for it. Take a proper look at it and try to solve more examples from your text also. Now coming to the next type of equations and reactions, that is exothermic and endothermic reactions. Exothermic reactions are those reactions which produce energy, is called exothermic reaction. Exothermic reactions are those reactions in which the energy is produced, we can say. When reaction takes place, there is evolution of energy. That type of reactions are called these exothermic reactions. For example, respiration. When the breakdown of food takes place in our body, in order to respiration is decomposition reaction in which energy is released. When we consume some food, it is digested and then it is decomposed to what? Energy is taken out from it. This is energy. Is taken out from what? Taken out from the food. And this is called a respiration. Since energy is taken out from it, we say that it is type of what? Exothermic reaction. Similarly, when methane CH4 is burned in presence of oxygen, it gives us carbon dioxide plus water. But not only this gives us energy also. As you might have observed or seen yourselves, when we burn something, there is evolution of energy also, and that energy is the characteristic by which we can say that this is a reaction of type what? Exothermic reaction. Similarly, endothermic reactions are opposite of what is exothermic reaction. A chemical reaction in which the heat energy is absorbed is called an endothermic reaction. And when we have to provide heat from an external source, in order for a reaction to happen, we say that it is endothermic reaction. Endothermic reactions are what? They are decomposition reactions. There are two thermal decompositions. Why thermal? Because we have to provide energy. We have to provide energy from external source in order to make this reaction happen. For example, calcium carbonate when heated gives us what? Calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. This type of reaction in which we have to supply energy from external source, we say that this type of reactions are called endothermic reactions. These were the types of equations that we needed to study in this module. And now we will be seeing what are the effects of oxidation reactions in everyday life. Oxidation reaction, that is addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. First type of effect is corrosion. Corrosion, you might have heard of it before. What is it? It is process of slow conversion. This is conversion. What? Slow conversion. This process is too slow and it doesn't come to our mind so quickly. ज़्यादातर ये हमें तब तक दिखती नहीं है जब तक पूरा जो सबस्टेंस है वो पूरा बिगड़ गया हो. That too of metal. The process of slow conversion of metals into their undesirable what? Compounds. Undesirable. We did not want those type of compounds from these metals. That is why we call these undesirable. Due to their reaction with oxygen, water, acids, gases, etc. present in the atmosphere is called corrosion. This is the formal definition. What? The process of slow conversion. That is, it takes time. Of what? Metals. The process of slow conversion of metals. जो हमारे metals की undesirable compounds बनती है with time. किसके साथ? Oxygen के साथ, water के साथ या acids gases that are present in the atmosphere. So that means that when we expose these metals to atmospheric conditions, when the metals are exposed to what? Atmospheric conditions. आपने देखा भी होगा कि जब हम घर में अपने कहीं पे भी, घर में, स्कूल में या कहीं पे भी रास्ते पे आप देखते हैं कि जहाँ पे लोहा कहीं पे पड़ा हुआ होता है तो उस पे जंग लग जाता है. That zang is actually the process of corrosion. Why? Because that is exposed to the atmospheric conditions. उस पे बारिश भी गिरती है, ऑक्सीजन तो हवा में है ही, उसके साथ उसकी रिएक्शन होती है, गैसेस है, that make the what? This metal to rust or corrode. Now rusting जो है, rusting of iron actually, that is an example of what? Corrosion. Corrosion हमने कहा कि undesirable compound बनते हैं किसी भी metal से, तो rusting is an example. Rusting जो मैं अभी कह रहा था कि iron when reacts with oxygen and moisture, water we can say, हाँ. जब ये इन दोनों के साथ रिएक्ट करता है तो इसके ऊपर रेड सबस्टेंस और एक रेड लेयर बन जाती है, दैट इज कॉल्ड रस्ट. जो इसके ऊपर वो रेड लेयर जिसको हम जंग बोलते हैं उर्दू में, ये पड़ जाता है, जंग पड़ जाता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड रस्टिंग. व्हाई? इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द कोरोजन. एंड इन दिस it reacts with what? Oxygen and the atmospheric moisture, and it is the formula of what? Rust. This gives us the rust, and this is undesirable क्योंकि हमको ये नहीं चाहिए होता है, क्योंकि हम नहीं चाहते कि हमारे इस कोरोजन या रस्टिंग की वजह से हमारे जो प्रोजेक्ट्स है या ब्रिजेस है और घर के जितने भी गेट्स और anything else वो खराब. Hence we say that it is undesirable. ये होता क्यों है? Because it is exposed to oxygen and moisture. Corrosion weakens the iron. अब ये undesirable क्यों है? चलो होता है तो undesirable क्यों है? क्योंकि ये हमारे जो आयरन है, this iron or any other metal, it weakens it. जो हमारी स्ट्रेंथ होती है किसी भी चीज की, किसी भी मेटल की, ये उसको कम कर देता है. And when that weakness we have to replace that in order to हमारे पास जितने भी जो प्रोजेक्ट्स है या गेट्स और एनीथिंग एल्स मेड ऑफ आयरन और स्टील, तो उनको हमको रिप्लेस करना पड़ता है कि कहीं पे कुछ फेलियर ना हो या उसकी वजह से कोई अनटोवर्ड इंसिडेंट ना हो। सो दैट इज व्हाई इट इज अनडिजायरेबल। एंड क्योंकि ये इसकी लाइफ को क्या कम करता है, किसकी, आयरन की लाइफ को कम करता है। नाउ हाउ टू प्रिवेंट दिस रस्टिंग, उसके लिए 2-3 मेथड है। बाय पेंटिंग, आइदर हम पेंट करते हैं, पेंट से क्या होता है, द अपर सरफेस जो होती है मेटल की दैट इज कवर्ड, तो उससे वो एक्सपोज नहीं होता। या ग्रीजिंग करते हैं, ग्रीज अप्लाई करते हैं, और ऑयलिंग और गैल्वनाइजेशन। गैल्वनाइजेशन में क्या होता है कि हम एक मेटल को दूसरे मेटल के ऊपर उसका एक स्मॉल लेयर उस पर डाल देते हैं ताकि दैट मेटल एक्ट्स एज ए, वो कुर्बानी दे के सेक्रीफाइस करता है खुद को और अंदर वाले मेटल को बचाता है। दीज आर द मेथड्स बाय विच वी कैन प्रिवेंट व्हाट, रस्टिंग। Similarly, corrosion of copper. Till now we were discussing what corrosion of iron, and that is called, that has a proper name, that is called rusting. Similarly, copper के ऊपर भी ये जो corrosion होता है that makes their luster and shine loss. उससे उसका जो वो शाइन वाइन होती है कॉपर पे, बिकॉज कॉपर हैज शाइनी अपीयरेंस, तो वो कम हो जाती है। बिकॉज द सरफेस ऑफ दिस ऑब्जेक्ट्स एक्वायर ग्रीन कोटिंग, तो दिस ग्रीन कोटिंग इज एक्चुअली व्हाट, दिस इज ड्यू टू द फॉर्मेशन और ड्यू टू द स्लो कन्वर्जन ऑफ मेटल, एंड दैट इज कोरोजन। तो उसके ऊपर कॉपर कार्बोनेट की एक लेयर बन जाती है विच इज ग्रीन, एंड दैट takes away their luster and shine. Corrosion of silver is the same thing. Silver के ऊपर क्या, silver metal gets tarnished on exposure to air due to formation of coating of black silver sulfide. तो ये क्या होता है, सिल्वर पे it gets black. Why? Because there is formation of black silver sulfide. तो it is undesirable corrosion, and we have already discussed the methods to prevent also. And coming to what is rancidity, this is the second daily effect of what, oxidation. Till now it was first, that was corrosion, and now it is the second effect, that is rancidity. Rancidity is the taste and odor of food items containing fat and oil change when they are left exposed to air for long time. This is called rancidity. तो जो हमारा कोई भी फूड आइटम है वो खराब हो जाता है किसी भी टाइम के बाद, मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल 10 दिन, 4 दिन, 15 दिन, जब वो किसके, जिसमें फैट्स या ऑयल होता है। फॉर एग्जांपल जो हमारे पास पैकेट्स भी आते हैं लेज का, बाकी चीज़ का, जब उस पे एक्सपायरी डेट ख़त्म हो जाती है तो उसके बाद उसका जो मज़ा होता है या जो ऑर्डर होती है उसका, दैट चेंजेस, दैट बिकम्स अनडिजायरेबल। फिर हम उसकी तरफ देखना भी नहीं चाहते या उसको सूंघना भी नहीं चाहते। तो वो क्यों होता है, दैट इज एक्चुअली ड्यू टू व्हाट, एयर और ऑक्सीडेशन। उसमें ऑक्सीडेशन हो जाती है और हम कहते हैं कि दिस व्हाट, this food has become rancid now. It is caused due to the oxidation of fat and oil present in the food. तो ये होता क्यों है, क्योंकि जो हमारे उस फूड मटेरियल में आइदर फैट्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं या होते हैं क्या, ऑयल्स। These two substances get oxidized. These get oxidized and that changes their odor and color. Color और taste. Color और taste जो होता है वो उनका change होता है। That color or the order that they got or the new color, that is undesirable. This is all because of what, oxidation. This is due to oxidation, and this is what we call rancidity. Now what are the methods to prevent rancidity? As we discussed the methods to prevent corrosion, similarly we will be discussing by methods by which we can prevent rancidity. For that, what we can do, by adding antioxidants. एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स का मतलब है कि हम जब कोई भी पैक करते हैं उसमें हम एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स भरते हैं। जो हमारे फूड आइटम में जो भी केमिकल कंपोजिशन है उसका मतलब जो वो ऑक्सीजन के साथ रिएक्ट कर सकता है, तो उसमें हम कुछ ऐसे एलिमेंट्स डालते हैं जो उसमें प्रेजेंट ऑक्सीजन को खा जाते हैं, दैट टेक and that reacts with the oxygen and makes compound with it, and the substance that we wanted to prevent is prevented, or by vacuum packing. And when we pack, this type of packing is vacuum packing. When we pack we just vacuum out, और हम उसमें से पूरा जो भी गैस है पूरे का पूरा ऑक्सीजन वो हम बाहर निकालते हैं। and when there is no presence of oxygen there can't be oxidation, हो ही नहीं सकती। और रिप्लेसिंग एयर बाय नाइट्रोजन, अब हम जब कोई भी पैकिंग करते हैं किसी भी, उसमें हम जो भी एयर है उसको नाइट्रोजन से भर देते, जस्ट लाइक द योर लेस और एनीथिंग एल्स जो भी आप खाते हैं उसमें एक्चुअली क्या गैस होती है, नाइट्रोजन, क्योंकि वो फूला हुआ होता है, दैट इज एक्चुअली ड्यू टू नाइट्रोजन, उसमें नाइट्रोजन भरते हैं विच इज इनफ। और रेफ्रिजरेशन ऑफ फूड स्टफ्स, या हम जो हमारे पास फूड्स होते हैं उनको रेफ्रिजरेट करते हैं सो दैट they remain fresh for as long time as possible. These are the ways by which we can prevent what, rancidity, and these were the effects that are due to what, oxidation. That is in this module, in this chapter, that was chemical reactions and equations. होप आपको सब कुछ समझ आ गया होगा। काइंडली सब्सक्राइब आवर चैनल, डू शेयर इट विद योर फ्रेंड्स एंड लाइक द वीडियो इफ यू थॉट कि ये अच्छा है, और आगे भी हमारी चैनल के ऊपर बने रहे अच्छे अच्छे वीडियोस के लिए। होप सो, थैंक यू।